Hi there, this is Diane, one of 5 awesome optimists. You know what a privilege it is to be one of 5 awesome optimists in the world? Think about that. That's not even a percentage point, because 1% would be 1 in 100. And so to be one of the not even a percentage point, 0.00000, is a place that I have learned to become very, very comfortable. The more that I think about things of that nature, I realize that for optimists, how rare you are, how rare we are, how precious and few we are, and how that much more needed we are in the world. I just read an article about somebody who said, I wish I were an optimist. And they said they're so lucky because no matter what is going on, they find something that's positive about it. And they always find, a silver lining. And most people find, a cloud and give it an icky lining. And it's a fascinating, fascinating study if you have taken the next echelon up to really, really study the power of optimism and realize that it can be something that you learn. I watched a most fascinating little video about water, and I know I've shared this before, and I may share it in more depth on, another time. But the first time that I had studied the effects of positivity on water and its actual scientific formations based on, the energy of thought. There's a Japanese doctor, Dr. Emoto, who actually did rice. He did 3 beacons of rice. A little bit of rice in the bottom, and on the first one there were positive thoughts towards it, and then the middle one there were negative thoughts towards it, and then in the last one it was just ignored and left alone. And what it was that I gleaned from that by having watched it, because the one that had positive thoughts towards it was completely, like a week later it still looked like rice in water. The one that had negative things to it was actually all black and full of mold, and the other one that was ignored was starting to get that way, starting to break down and be a little bit syrupy in the water. And so what I guess my takeaway from something like that is that the actual energetic waves that are emanated from a positive vibration are actually protecting us. They're protecting our health. They're protecting, it's like a barrier, the special shield of protection against disease, against all kinds of things. And so yes, optimism is something that if you don't have it, you can learn it. Learn how to see things that are more positive in life. It is needful for you to be that way. I have said this so many times. There is enough negativity in the world, and sometimes I can get that way, and I realize when I do that, it drains on my spirit and my heart becomes heavy. And for me, optimism has become a mode of survival, not just because it's, something that's a nice thing to do, but because I have to do it. When I think about all of the, seriously, all the incredible tragedies in the world, sometimes my heart can become heavy, and sometimes I can be so overcome that I just weep. Truly, I just weep. And it's very fascinating that when we are ready, the master will appear. And I never take meeting somebody new in my life a light thing. A few weeks ago, I met on the movie set of The Journey a woman named Candy G, and I shared an interview with her on one of my posts here at the 5 Awesome Optimists. And since that time, I have come to really go through the archives of her Nothing But Good News radio show. And if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, or even been exposed to it, allow me the privilege to introduce that to you. And this week she interviewed a woman called Jaya, who taught a very very powerful technique called detachment. And what she does is, I'm not sure if she's Indian, I didn't see it, I just listened to it, but she has a different organization where she actually feeds people who are sort of the outskirts of society, where you know, they're homeless, they're crack houses, they're just the sort of the dregs of that people sort of forget. They're beyond the fringe of society. They're places that you never ever want to go, where people are, you know, they don't have regular baths, and it's just a crazy thing. And she talked about, and the way she got started was she was homeless when she was a little girl, and these people took her in as they lived under the boardwalk, and she said, "How can I repay you?" And they said, "Don't, just repay it to others." And so she has literally spent the rest of her life doing that. Now she's 70 years old. But she talked about at being in a situation where there's, you know, holding babies that would die in her arms, and she would just get so overcome and start weeping for the with a team of other people who were in a place like that. She said this doctor laid hands on her, or like basically slapped her and told her, "This is not about you," and pointed over, "There's 3 more babies over there that need you." And so, of course, this isn't about you. This is not about you. When all these horrible things are happening around you, it's not about you. And one of the things that I have learned about being able to put myself in a position where I can, you know, really take a moment, and I don't know if I would necessarily call it meditating or praying, but to put myself in a place that I'm able to silence everything else, that I can be able to be a good conduit for good things. When you put good things in, you get good things out. You can't, how could you expect, you know, putting junk in and then getting something wonderful out? It doesn't work that way. And in today's world, there's so much noise. Oh, there's so much noise. There's cell phones and computers and televisions and computer games and music and TV. There's just so much noise. And I think that when we do get inspiration, you know, sometimes people say, "Oh, it always happens in the shower." Well, think about that. There's no distractions in the shower. It's quiet. So if you take away some of those distractions and just listen and hope for some kind of inspiration, expect it, and be silent and let it come to you. Invite it, ask for it, pray for it if you need to. Those are some of the main things that if I was a coach on optimism, that's what I would say to do. Silence things. Shh. Be still. Let some enlightening thoughts come to you that will help you in every area of one time. Because I'm sort of, you know, getting this reputation about, you know, always looking for the good thing. I dropped a vase. I was loading up my car and I dropped a vase that had some flowers in it, and it broke. And it was one of my favorite vases. And I almost started crying. I did. I almost started crying. My mom comes out, "What happened?" And I go, "I dropped my vase." And I go, "It's one less thing I have to clean, right? One less thing I have to worry about." I'm trying to be optimistic about this. But yeah, it doesn't take any character whatsoever to react in a negative way. It takes nothing to do that. It takes a champion, and it takes an optimist to be able to look at a situation and find something that's good. Because there always is something that's good from it. You are dialed in here today because somebody in the world needs you and needs your light and needs your optimism, like perhaps you need mine. And I do mean that, and I hope that this does make a difference in your life for the better. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Diane, one of 5 awesome optimists.